is that alongside many Islamists who he criticizes, he shares with Islamists this ludicrous assumption that the Sharia would be, or the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be applied to this state, the capitalist state. And obviously Islamists have tried it, and they try it. And they fail, because that state is created for a totally different function. And it is not just that its constitution is totally different from Islamic State, but it is situated within a web of relations with other states in a subordinated capitalist and imperialist web of relations, which functionally make it impossible for it to do anything else, really, except for very minor deviation from its path. So in a sense, Hallaq shares the basic premise with the so-called Islamists is trying to criticize, with this difference. The Islamists he criticize, they think that modern state is sort of a neutral institution, and you can capture modern state through election or whatever. So if you establish a government which is an Islamic government, that is, it consists of Muslims who want to implement the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all aspects of our life. When they preside over government, they will use this modern state institution to implement the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I think the error of the Islamists is not understanding. So they are right in saying that state is very important, and they're right in saying that command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to be implemented in all aspects of life, and the state is a very important aspect of life in modern life. But they don't understand the nature of this state, and they don't understand the nature of change. So although many of them talk about revolution, what they are actually after is some sort of a reform, really, of a capitalist system. But we argue that you can't reform a capitalist system. If you try to reform a capitalist system, you will actually be reforming Islam and distorting Islam. Now, Hallaq, obviously, as a non-Muslim, I don't think he cares about the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he thinks that a state, I think he is correct in thinking that modern state, you can't implement the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think he's correct in that. But from this, somehow he draws the conclusion that you don't need to worry about modern state, and somehow you will implement the sovereignty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without worrying about state. I don't know, we will see whether this state will wither away or what will happen, I don't know. But practically what he is saying is Muslims shouldn't worry about overthrowing this state. And they probably can implement the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their communal life, etc. I mean, and that would be a great news for capitalist imperialists and their lackeys in the Arab and in the Islamic world.